AI is changing everything, but it should be changing your email habits, how you answer email, how you interact with people, how you find people, how you hit up people. And today we're going to talk about that. Who are you?
Hey, Robert. Great to see you. I'm Eric Vaughan. I'm CEO of Ignite Tech, a 30-year-old enterprise software company that over the last 24 months has turned into an AI startup. And that's been no small feat.
I was talking to you about that before, that you did a whole bunch of cultural change initiatives trying to change your company to be an AI first company. And congrats, because many companies aren't where you are yet, understanding that you really need to get on the AI bandwagon. And maybe we'll talk about that in a second. But tell me about, now that you've changed your company to be an AI first company, you're starting to make AI products.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And we're doing it from a
tell us what you're doing.
Oh, sorry.
No, tell us what you're doing. Sorry.
Yeah. And we're doing it, in a way that I think is different than a lot of the other AI startups that I see, because we're not leading with technology. This is a fun time in the industry. It's kind of like another gold rush, where everybody knows there's gold and everybody's trying to find it. And we, as a software company that's been taking care of customers globally for a very long time, know that it's not by convincing customers we're the smartest or the best technologists. It's actually the opposite. It's basically not having to talk about LLMs and vector stores and weights and all those things that are part of our world in AI. It's rather, this is what it does for you. Don't you want that? And we're very focused on, and this is our overriding theme, or overarching theme, I should say, is we're putting humans at the center of that. We don't want AI to like spin off and just take over, because humans seem to be super uncomfortable with that scenario.
Yeah.
Instead, we want to give them something that they feel like they're mastering, that they're in control.
In fact, they want to ban it. There was just a survey released today that said 60% of people want to ban AI. We see AI is going to come after our jobs and all that, but I'm going to talk to the people who are like, okay, that's noise. There's something going on here. What's going on in the AI, in the email space, right? Because that's where one of your major products is going after helping people with email. I mean, we got Gmail, and we got Superhuman, we got all these email things, and then we got a few of these new email AI email things. In fact, Google's trying to bolt on Gemini into Gmail to try to help people with their email. What's going on from your point of view, and what does your new product bring that's much more helpful than?
Let me point out that a lot of what you just said was help. I think you said help, and help. It's obvious that people need help, because people are trying to solve that. Lots of people, as you point out. And I think the help is coming towards this impression of being, having an overloaded inbox and not keeping up with all of the, requests in my inbox. There are a lot of tools out there. Superhuman is certainly one. Shortwave is another that we've seen. Some real.
Yeah, I've had the founder of Shortwave on, right?
I have too. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, former Gmailer. And he's got a great perspective, and we're using the product. I mean, that's part of our AI stack. We're looking at something completely different. We're looking at what I always call the other side of the email equation, and that is, we're really good as organizations of sending out blasts, whether it's announcing an event, a new product, or we're trying to recruit leads. Where we as a group of companies in the world are terrible is at responding. At the state of the art up until now has been an autoresponder. And the reason I say state of the art is there's statistics out there that say, if a lead comes in via email, if you answer it in 5 minutes or less, your conversion rate goes up 200x. But unless you've got people sitting there on the inbox 24/7 and in multiple languages, if you're a global company and deal with people that speak other than English, nobody attains that. So their conversion rate goes down. Yeah. So our new product that we wrote with our AI startup called Eloquens AI is focused on that. It puts a persona. When we say persona, we mean it is an AI human representative. It looks like a human in every way. It's got a human name. Oftentimes we pair it with even social accounts. You'll find our Eloquence personas on X, on LinkedIn, so it even looks authentic. And it uses the knowledge about whatever the discussion is to answer the questions intelligently. And always within 5 minutes or less, and that's controllable, and in 160 languages, which it can switch midstream in an email.
Yeah.
So we're trying to handle the inbound side of email, right? Where you've done something either to solicit response, like I said, an outbound campaign, or the very common use case of info at or help at or sales at everybody's company, right?
Yeah.
We have all seen it. It's an auto. Thank you very much for your inquiry. Somebody will get back to you in the next business day. You just want to hang your head at how they've just essentially ruined that. Well, what if it just always responded in 5 minutes or less with an appropriate answer in most cases? And if it doesn't find the appropriate answer, it'll loop a human in.
Yeah.
Human in the loop for those exceptions when it can't. It'll even do things like create appointments, offer appointments that can be booked with people, right? So this is where we think it's got tremendous value. And there are some other features, but that's the core.
You even internally in your company, you hit a lot of resistance when you were trying to get your company to change over to AI first thinking. How is this working? You know, because I hear all these fears. Oh my God, I can't hook up an automatic thing to my email. First of all, it'll steal my intellectual property. You can't do that at a lot of companies, right? And second of all, it'll hallucinate. It'll give a bad answer. It'll make me embarrassed. It'll lose a customer that if a human answered it, would be better, right? How do you take on some of these fears?
Yeah, the fundamental underlying principle you're talking about is something that's known in the industry as grounding. And Eloquence, as well as our other AI product that we've launched in the last year called My Personas, the most sacred rule is we've got to ground the AI. And what that means is it doesn't give an answer that it doesn't know, right? Now, some people call that hallucination, but I think we've gone much, much further on that. And our R&D, our engineering, our AI team is focused on that. Now, one of the things that seems to really work with the LLM, because everybody needs to remember that AI wants to be this super helpful assistant, answer every question, is we believe that we have convinced the LLM that because we have a human escape hatch. In other words, if you don't know AI, don't worry. Ask the human that the AI doesn't try as hard to come up with an answer on its own. It's like, well, I can go to the human and ask. So let me do exactly that. So we are accomplished, and we've done a lot of measurements. Our grounding's in the low 90s. Papers published by Google and others are nowhere near 90s.
Yeah.
In terms of percentage of answers that are not given. Now, we enable everybody that uses our product Eloquence to put it in what we call draft mode. So it can answer immediately, or if you want to build confidence in the product, no problem, for your own self, you put it in draft mode. And so it will then compose the answer, go tap the person that's managing the campaign on the shoulder through various methods, and you go look at it and you can edit it, change it, and then send it, right? So that's how we're getting around it. It's the focus on grounding that's super important, I think.
And how do you ground it? Do you teach it about your company? What's the setup like to get Eloquence set up to do this kind of corporate answering?
Well, it's only as good as its knowledge, and 100%, we do not recommend that anyone just stand it up and not give it any knowledge and let the LLM go wild. So it'll immediately ingest your website, or it'll crawl and ingest the contents of a company website if that's where the answers need to be. It accepts documents in all kinds of formats that it relies on. And that's the process of building it, is really nothing more than pointing it to FAQ documents that you have, product brochures that you have, could be help desk repositories. One of our internal use cases, and I should mention, Eloquence came from an internal project in our AI transformation. Here was our problem. We have thousands of customers and don't have thousands of account managers. So we had a large swath of customers that were underserved in terms of normal account management reach out. And like most companies, we tried to solve that with periodic email blasts announcing this. Have you tried this feature? This is what's on the roadmap. Where we failed was where that came back in and they wanted to know more. We just didn't keep up with that. So we wrote something internally called the email engine. That's what we called it, to do that exact function. And when we saw how well it was working, we decided this is a commercial product. We should rebrand and re-engineer because it was not scalable how we did it in the first place, right? So, that's where it came from. So you give it knowledge. That's the bottom line answer to your question. A lot of people, now I'm going to slip into that AI vernacular. They call it RAG. We can talk about RAG if we need to. I highly
retrieval
augmented generation, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which means the system goes out and gets information from other places and brings it back, right?
Yeah, it means the knowledge sits in front of the LLM as a preferential place to look for an answer. That's the best way to explain RAG to people, right?
Yeah.
It's a method of saying, hey, LLM, go here first before you try to figure it out on your own, right? And that's what grounding is. Grounding is go here first. Don't go to your big LLM if you don't find it. Instead, ask the human. So the human in the loop is our superpower. For Eloquence, for our other product, My Personas, it's the same, right? This is how we accomplish that.
So I assume in the first week I'm going to be, if I put your system in place, I would be highly human in the loop. I would be like approving every message that goes out, maybe editing things, stuff like that. Does it learn from my own answers, right? If I say, oh, no, you didn't do that right, and I answer it back, does it learn from that? And then in the future, it answers the way I would answer it?
Have you been sitting in on our product design?
Well, I know a little thing about AI.
I know you do. I know you do, but that is the right question, and it absolutely does, right?
Yeah.
The incentive to the human who is trying to get away from answering way too many emails or messages over and over again is answer it once, don't have to answer it again. That's the value prop of the humans. Like, take time, give it a good answer, teach it. It's good from now on, right? So
which is a big, out of 1,000 emails that comes in, 300 of them are going to be asking the same freaking question over and over again. Where do I get this? How do I do this? Right? Is that what you're finding with your customers? A good chunk of them is a very repetitive kind of answer.
Again, I go to our own internal use case for, one of our segments of business. We have tens of thousands of end users and thousands of resellers. So we sell it through the channel. And it's questions about how do I configure? How do I add a user? What's the right parameter for this? We used to have software systems engineers assigned to those emails, and they'd get to them when they could. And we certainly didn't have enough staff to keep up with that. But now, and this was a persona inside Eloquence called Sally. So Sally suddenly became this persona that started answering all these questions. It's funny, I've got a video of one of our resellers who was on a call with our people. And when he heard that Sally was AI, you should see his face. It was like, that was AI? Yeah, Sally, the lady that's been answering your tech questions for all of your customers for the last several weeks, right? It's just really quite amazing. So yeah, it is. And that is the bane of all of our existence. I mean, think about an event. Think about a conference. Think about an AI conference or any conference. Those questions are the same every year. When does it start? Where's the agenda? Where should I stay? How do I register? I'm an exhibitor. Where do I order carpet? When do I set up? Like all in all, those poor people are dead by the time the event's over from that, constant thing. What if they didn't have to answer those questions but once and you could redirect them? And since, Eloquence is email based, but our other product, My Personas, really is doing the same thing, except it's video and audio. And so you can talk to it and you can see the person. So now we're appealing to multimodal, right? Some people prefer to talk. Some people prefer to read, right? So we're offering all of those different things, but it's at the same question, freeing humans from answering the same stuff over and over and over again, right? And in an intelligent way and in multi-language. Can't miss that, multi-language.
Yeah. Can you show us what it looks like?
Can I show you?
A demo?
Well, I do. Like I said,
Probably has private information. Make sure you don't out some customer.
well, yeah, okay.
And you know,
Let me find the best use case here. I mean,
while you're doing that, what are the basics? You know, how much does this cost a month?
well, that is rapidly expanding and taking on new form because we're hearing people they want more capabilities. So right now, a one persona use. This is all on our website. Is $65 a month. We've got multiple users and multiple workflows for $400 a month. That's more of a business plan, and then there's an enterprise plan for very large scale businesses as well. Right.
Got it. And is there a limit on how many emails it can answer a day? I mean, if you're a big Coca-Cola or something, are you scalable to that level where you can answer thousands per day? Or
It's absolutely designed. It's all AWS based. It's resident in both Ireland for GDPR for EU customers as well as in the US, and it is scalable for enterprise. Absolutely right. But it is when you said number of emails, that is where the pricing differentiation really truly is, right? So
got it.
Yeah. So let me share screen and show you.
Yeah. What about the intellectual property concerns that people have? Oh, you're going to hook this up to my enterprise. Are you looking inside my email and figuring out all my secret product plans and sharing that out to some system somewhere, right? Giving it all to OpenAI or something.
Well, we don't retain emails, but inside the cloud-based system are the conversations. Those are all manageable, purgeable. They're purgeable with rules, but they're there. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So, it's intellectual property that's never available to us unless permission is granted from the administrator of the account. We just sit on top of the AWS instance. We don't have access to people's organizations unless we have been given authorization. But that's the right question to ask. Who can read this, right?
Yeah.
This is intellectual property. It's confidential. I care about all this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that's different than Gmail, except that's Google. I don't know how that's different than Microsoft 365, except that's Microsoft. And maybe everybody's just accepted that that's safe and easy. But if it's in the cloud, it's in the cloud, right? It's really kind of the same. So,
well, we don't want to train the models about our products, right?
That's exactly right. Well, we don't train. So all of ours, we pay for models that are either resident in our AWS. Nothing ever goes out to the general models and is being trained. If that's your answer, nothing ever goes out. That's not the case. So,
could this be used as a general email client? Could I get rid of Gmail and just start using this for all my email? Talking to grandma and talking to customers and talking to the boss and right.
Yeah, I don't really see that use case. I'm not sure that that's not really what it's been designed for. It's designed for scale. I mean, I think there are other products, as you mentioned at the top of our interview, that are probably better suited for that. We're not after personal inbox management. That's really not. Can people use it for that? They can, right? So so for example, this is you asked. This is the back end of Eloquence here. Hang on just a second. You edit all this, right? You edit all this.
Oh yeah. I killed whatever you need taken out.
I just killed my
the script. I use an email tool to edit my videos.
I've seen them. They're great. I love your emails. I love your style of email.
My tool makes a transcript, and I can just cut the words out. So if you see something you don't want, let me know.
Great. Okay. So let me just start orient you. Oh, you're not seeing that. Let me share the whole window.
I was seeing a window.
Yeah. Okay. Now you see this whole window. Yeah. So here's the website, the landing. First of all, it's got a trial with no credit card. We learned early on that people kept stopping in the flow and enter your credit card for after the trial. We're like, great, just turn it off. Don't play with it for 14 days. And if you want to know more about it, there's never been a better way to test a product in all of history. Just email Eloquin at eloquins.ai. And you are talking to Eloquins about itself. Hi, Ella. Tell me all about you, right? I mean, it's great. And can I use it for this? And so, it is a website shows, the kind of flow, how it has automated response. You can customize campaigns. It's got, filters for things like we learned very early on. If you send out an email blast, you often get auto responses that say out of office or vacation. Well, you don't sure as heck don't want to respond to that. So it's got intelligent filtering for things like that. And then strategic email routing, like you tell it, hey, if this is an inquiry for HR, forward it over here. If this is an inquiry for finance, forward it here. If the tone of the conversation, you detect the sentiment is getting aggravated, bring the human in the loop and tell them that you've passed that off, right? So that's all part of the email routing.
Got it.
There's a video on the website people can look at. And then this is a ROI calculator, right? How much time do you spend on emails a day? Equivalent rate, your hourly rate of whoever's doing that. It's easy to measure, right? How you save money for people want to quantify it. And then this is how everybody signs up, and it's all auto sign up. We also have a separate partner site at partners.eloquens.ai that's all about partners, because we see a lot of affiliates being very interested in this, frankly, right? Marketing affiliates in particular. So that's all set up. They get automatically paid. It's all done through Stripe integration. So you log into Eloquens. This is the back end. And here you see all of the email personas that I have set up. I just pointed out to you, Eloquen is the persona that we have set up for that. So if you want to add a persona, all you do is give it a name and what role are they playing, and then you connect to either Gmail or to Microsoft 365 or through, we have an email product also called Cario Connect. That's fully integrated as well. And then you create that persona, and then you set up a workflow. And setting up a workflow allows you to add a number of things. So like if I look at Eloquen's workflow, see how it's set up. So here are the settings. That manager is the human in the loop. Who's the person that's going to go to if Ella says, uh-oh, got to bring my human in, or this is a question I don't know an answer to. You can add a link here. It could be Calendly or any of the calendar apps that Eloquens can use to suggest a meeting. Then you set up the email settings, and this is where you set up, do you want it to automatically send, or you want to put it in draft mode so you can approve yourself? And there's some other things that if you go into advanced, that this gets a little bit deeper, like custom tone. How would you like the tone to be? Depending on the persona, you're a sales persona, be encouraging, be assumptive, ask lots of questions. So like you can get a lot of your lead qualification questions answered by Eloquens before you ever engage with the prospect. And these are smart filters. You can see we've got ignore marketing mails, spam, system notifications, don't respond if already included someone else in the conversation. So like if the human got involved and they respond, don't do it, right? And then there's different templates that we've loaded to help people figure out what kind of routing might you do, right? So we get a lot of inquiries for bug bounties, right? Because we're a software company. We have a lot of people saying, we think we found something that is a bug in your software, and will you pay us for it, right? So we have a template for that. And then knowledge is what you had asked about before. This is where you can either add documents, super simple. If I go in here, these are actual PDFs that are uploaded in the directory. These are our products. Right now, you can see it's only geared towards Eloquens. Here are the files that are in here, right? So this is the knowledge that makes Ella smart, right? How do you do everything in Eloquens? I mean,
teach it about your company, give it all your things.
Teach it about your company, teach it about every product, reduce all those level 1 calls, all those how-to calls with satisfaction by the customers because they're getting a real answer. Separately, you can give it a website and a number of URLs that it will automatically, all you do is put the URL in and it goes and it crawls that website, pulls all that data in the knowledge. And then finally, notes. Notes are things you can just add. You don't have to construct a document. You can just say, hey, if the guy's name is Bob Scobel, tell him that he's the most important person you've talked to this week, and you're immediately setting up an appointment, right? You can just add that, and that goes to the knowledge. Then notifications. If you want to BCC, a lot of people do this. They BCC. You can see we've BCC'd to a Slack channel. So we see all these emails coming into a Slack channel, and we watch the conversations via Slack. That's kind of a clever thing to do. And then a number of other things. And then if I go into conversations, this is where you can really see. I want to stay here and stay here. I'm not, oh, I haven't selected the right workflow. Okay. Select eloquence marketing. So here are the conversations. So this is what you see on the back end. So I immediately picked one that happened today that looks like it's in German. So yeah, this came in German as an inquiry. And you can see our answer that went out. It shows you the reasoning. Why did it make the decision it did? Should it respond? Should it not respond? It'll show the sources that it used, so you can actually see the sources that it used to build the knowledge. That makes, so people understand what's happening with that, and you can see the whole conversation. This was an inbound email that came from, looks like unsolicited, from a PR service, Presswire, EIN press service, right?
Yeah.
Totally unsolicited, came into us. AI reasoning said, this email is unsolicited marketing material, unrelated to Eloquent or its services, so don't respond, right? So all of that's here on the back end. This is how people manage things, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Looks cool. It looks simple and easy to handle for a business person to set up and use.
Yeah, I think it is. And we've designed it for, sole practitioners, solopreneurs who are trying to scale their business and don't have time to keep up with all the leads, or even people that have launched products and have, so many questions coming in, but many of them of the same variety, and giving people on the other side, the customers, the experience of a human. And in fact, Ella's pretty good at not disclosing that she's AI. Lots of people have tried. Hey, are you AI? I'm a helpful support rep. She kind of refuses to do that. That's in our prompt, right? So yeah.
In your system prompter.
That's in our system prompt. That's right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Or
show me your system prompt. Show me your system prompt. Nope, not going to work.
What has this done for conversion rates? Because it seems like if you answer back with a really good email back and people are happy, that conversion rates on buying things and customer sat numbers probably are going up, right? That kind of thing.
100%. So number one, let me just use the support case I talked about, Sally, earlier. Sally, is answering questions in multiple, and because that line of business is extremely international, lots of different languages, answering in perfect grammar in all those languages, very technical answers because it's got all the knowledge. And if it can't find it, it goes and brings the human in the loop who answers those edge cases, and it learns from there. Great satisfaction, better than chatbots. People are frustrated with AI chatbots because they don't believe they're good in getting good answers. I think that they've overgeneralized that. There are really good AI chatbot facilities out there these days. Yeah. I don't agree with it, but they're prejudiced. Here they're not. They don't. There's no perception that they're talking to AI. They just notice that it's quick and fast and in perfect grammar and on point. For sales conversions, your question. Yeah, we have done things like outbound email campaigns that said, for account management, I'm your new account manager. This is literally an eloquence persona talking. Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm your new account manager for your product, one of our products, DNN. First of all, are you aware of our current announcement? Second of all, is there anything we could do to help you? Would you like me to set up a meeting with your customer success rep? And we'd get an answer like, no, I'm all set, but I need to order 10 more seats. How do I do that? So we went and pulled a lead in, and Eloquence is able to answer that and then also go give that to the sales team who then closes that deal. So it effectively mines for opportunities that you don't even know are there. It's really quite remarkable. It's all about Robert, it all comes down to all of this. All of our strategy comes down to human in the loop, but it comes back to one word that I think is so important: engagement, right? Leads conversions go up, support satisfaction goes up, general company satisfaction goes up, employee satisfaction goes up when you engage people and you fulfill what they're engaging with you for, right? That's just a human concept, right? Yeah. I need something, you gave it to me. I'm happy, right? And you gave me what I needed. That's what we're doing. We're driving
sales. I totally get it, right? This helps with sales. What about customer support, where you have angry customers writing, hey, my server's down, or or my widget doesn't work. I'm mad. Does it sense emotionality in email responses coming in?
It does. It does sentiment analysis. That's part of the routing, particularly in the support use case, because there you've got, like you just gave, like I'm a down scenario, right? This person doesn't want to talk to an L1 rep, which is, I would argue that Eloquence could be a good L1, L2 rep, depending on depending on the product. Let's just put it that way. But it's got a lot of knowledge that it can answer questions. But if it's I'm down and I need troubleshooting, Ella's answer would be, I understand. That's going to be beyond my capabilities. I've looped in, Bill Smith, who is my escalation manager. You should hear from Bill right away. And Eloquence goes and taps on Bill's shoulder, and Bill pays attention. Bill pays more attention than he used to because he doesn't get near the taps on the shoulder that he used to, right? That's what happens. So many people dial a phone and they just push 0, or they say agent, agent, agent.
Yeah.
We don't get that as much. That's not what's happening, right? People like, let me talk to somebody. They just want their answer. But in system down, yes, it will recognize those situations. This is the advantage of AI thinking, right?
It's AI thinking, but it's also human. By immediately answering back and say, hey, I got to loop in Joe or whatever, the customer knows that the company heard them, first of all, right? And that makes them calm down a little bit, right?
That's right.
And then Joe will call them in a few minutes or send them an email, and things will go better, hopefully. But,
you said it. People oftentimes just want to be heard. They want to know they've been heard and that you care. Like, 100% in my career that spans, a few decades. Most customers are tolerant of problems if they know you're giving it everything you got. They're not tolerant when you're not answering, you're non-responsive, or you don't seem to care, right?
Yeah.
If I'm ever on a bridge with a customer having an outage and we know our best people are there and we're all trying and it's just hard, it's eluding us, there's a lot of patience there. They may be under pressure, but there's still patience, right? So, yeah.
After you use this for a few months and get 1,000 emails in and thousands of emails, does it start looking? Does it give you a report on there's a bunch of people asking for a new feature on your product? Let's say you're a mountain biking company. I want even bigger tires, right? And people keep asking the same question. Does it give a report like, hey, we noticed 40 people keep asking for bigger tires, something like that?
That's right. And there's statistics that are in here that you can drill down in all of them. So here are different workflows, the replies that we've got. It assesses feedback and positive and negative. It'll show how many auto responses we got, what were billing requests, what were churn risks, what were employment inquiries, which ones went to inbound sales, right? These are a lot of our test use cases. These aren't, production. But yeah, and then you can drill down into any of these and see exactly what's going on, or you can change this filter to any number of filters, right? So a lot of data. That's all a work in progress. We keep getting more ideas from people who want to see this or that, and it's great. So that's what's cool when your software starts to take flight. You get a lot of ideas that you never thought of.
So let's talk about your company. Where did your company come from, and how did you get here?
I was the founder and CEO of 3 different software companies, and about almost 9 years ago now, I became part of a company that's really called Trilogy at its heart. It's a 30-year-old software company called Trilogy Software that was started in Austin, Texas back in 1989. And within this organization, over the last 10, 15 years, we've become an M&A firm, right? But we're a family office, not a private equity firm. We buy, we don't sell. We only buy. We look for software companies to buy. And that's been our model. We're a highly profitable company. There's no outside financing. This is all done from internal. But in 2023, in early 2023, I, like many people, had an awakening that the ground had shifted under my and our feet. And we decided that we had to be a leader in the space and try really hard to be a leader. And that's hard because it's changing every day.
Yeah.
So we completely—
Tell me about it. I got a screen going. It's I'm in the matrix over here. X is going crazy with new models, new things, new products, new companies. I have
You know,
60.
I just had that conversation with somebody a little bit ago earlier today. I said, you could almost like plot on a graph, like this week it was vibe coding, and this week it was Claude 3.7, and this week it was Grok 3, and now this week it's Manus. Like it's
Yeah.
Manus, and why they
No,
have
no. This morning it's all Google Gemini.
it's
New
on Google
models
Gemini.
shipped,
That's
and
right.
new robot shipped this morning.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
always changing.
it's a gold rush. It's fascinating to watch and fascinating to be a part of. So we decided, we decided, we're a tech company. We're a high tech company. We need to lead our customers. We got to help them. So we had to retool ourselves completely. And this was a major cultural transformation to our company. When I say
How many
cultural,
employees do you have, by the way?
yeah, we don't release that. We're private. We don't release numbers. So here are the numbers I can share with you. We're a 9-digit revenue company. That gives you a frame of reference.
Yeah.
As I just shared at a conference at Gen AI Expo in February, our revenue per employee is higher than any of the companies that you know. NVIDIA, Broadcom, OpenAI, our revenue per employee is higher. And our EBITDA is higher than all of those companies. NVIDIA and Broadcom's running at 64%. We finished 2024 at almost 75% EBITDA. Okay. Now you look at that and you're like, oh, that's because you're
earnings before what?
Earnings before income tax, depreciation, and amortization.
Yeah.
Largely referred to as the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
It's
I used to run the books at a software startup.
it's the result.
I've been trying to get rid of that knowledge in my head.
Fair enough. Yeah, and it just rolled off my tongue like it's a word, right? EBITDA. Yeah. So we decided that we had to transform this, very large company. I mean, 9 digits of revenue is not small, and we had to fundamentally transform it. And what I did was, and it's a general management philosophy, I try to remove all excuses. Well, I didn't have enough money to buy tools. I'm sorry. You could buy up to $1,000 of anything without approval. Just expense it, you'd be reimbursed. Anything you want. ChatGPT Pro, doesn't matter. You've got that. Education. We brought outside educators in. Ethan Malik came in and did a workshop just for my company, and worked with our team. And this was in the early days in 23 when it was all about prompting and prompt engineering and all of that. Then I took 1 day a week, Mondays, for an entire quarter called AI Mondays. And we forbid everybody from doing anything on that day except working on AI education or AI projects. They weren't allowed to do customer calls. They weren't allowed to do anything outside of AI. So that's 20% of my payroll, 20% of my payroll every week that I dedicated to AI. So I did all the things, gave everybody every opportunity. At the end of the day, it's that old axiom, you can lead horses to water, but they don't drink unless they want to drink. And there was a lot of that. And shockingly to me, more in the technical jobs than in the non-tech jobs. That just surprised me. Didn't expect that at all.
That the programmers didn't want to change.
Marketing jumped on it. Finance jumped on it. Sales loved it. Oh my God, I've got tools that I can do myself. Developers folded their arms and said, it doesn't know the code as well as I do. It hasn't been writing that, taking care of that product for 10 years. And they, some outright refused to do it. And others tried, but didn't really try because they didn't believe in it. And all those people, Robert, had to go, all of them. So we had a turnover of 80%. Now that's not an 80% reduction. It's an 80% change. And we went out then to the market and started hiring what we called AI innovation specialists in all domains, AI innovation specialists in finance and marketing and sales. And all of the interviews, of which I personally interviewed everyone over the last 9 months, because I want them aligned with me as well, look to use AI every step of the way in everything they do. And now I've fostered, we have fostered that culture, and we don't have that cultural problem anymore. So I've been called by Ethan Malik and others, the extreme case, maybe so, but we're a tech company and there was no margin for error for us. My proof that it worked is in less than 12 months, I've created 2 brand new AI products from scratch with a team that didn't work for me a year ago. as well as several other AI co-pilots and additions on our other products. So I think
Yeah.
it's working.
No, it's what I hear, from leading edge thinkers. If you don't have AI first thinkers, you're not moving as fast, right?
That's right.
And I was talking to Andy Grignon last night, who was one of the 12 guys who created the iPhone, and started a new company too. He's using Cursor and Claude and Rue and all sorts of new AI tools to build stuff. And he said it's some amazing tools to build things. And he's a guy who coded all his life, right? So
Isn't that
you can
interesting?
teach an old dog new tricks, right?
You can. That was another slide that was in my early presentations. Was they say you can't. As soon as you hear you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you better get another dog.
Yeah.
So that's it, right? But you can teach old dog new tricks, and I agree. There are lots of people that are, I mean, I'm a tech guy from 30 years ago. This whole vibe coding concept, this whole concept of basically just telling it what you want and it's creating code. That's so liberating. It's spectacular. Salespeople now on my team are creating demos of products to show customers to get feedback. They don't need to go to the technical team anymore. They can say, hey, Claude, look at this user interface from our product. This is what the product does. Here's a product doc that you can understand it. I want to add some AI features. One example is we've got a product that works in the retail sector, and it's an inventory warehouse management where you move things. And we showed a very large retail customer based in the UK a new version of that software that had AI layered on top of it that did things like predicted returns based on factors. Like, what if you promoted a sweater to customers in Dubai? They probably shouldn't buy it. You're probably going to have a high rate of return because that's not in sync with their climate, right? Those kinds of things. And we showed it to them and they were blown away. Not one line of code had been written in the product. But our salespeople, our sales engineers, were able to create a reasonable enough facsimile of what it would look like that we could get feedback from the customers immediately. If that sounds right, then we go and implement it in the product. And all that's just liberating.
Yeah, it totally is. This morning I was having a conversation with Grok and AI about marketing. And I was having a discussion with it about, in the future, we need marketing that's going to be separate for human and AIs, because your robot is going to buy shit and the human's going to buy shit.
That's so interesting. Isn't that interesting?
Right. And they need different approaches. They had a whole conversation with me. I posted on X. Do you agree with that? And maybe your email tool, will it sense that an email's coming in from an AI? Could it possibly know that that's an agent that's sending or calling the phone line?
It's super interesting. Yeah, no, it's not a use case we've thought of, but it will happen. It absolutely will happen.
I use an app on my phone called Simple AI. You prompt to it and say, hey, I need a restaurant reservation tonight for 5 people at an Italian restaurant within 10 miles. And it calls the restaurants and talks to the human and has a conversation. Hey, do you have any space tonight at 7 p.m. for 5 people? And the human goes, yeah, we have a reservation. What's your name? Robert Scobel, right? It represents me as a human. And then it comes back and on my phone, it says, oh, we found a restaurant that has an opening tonight at 7 p.m. for your 5 people, right? So it's an AI that's talking to a human.
And can you be specific? Can you tell it I want this restaurant and it'll call it?
Yeah. You can call my favorite restaurant and give me a reservation.
What's their their profit? How are they making money? How
who makes money in Silicon Valley? I don't.
Bad answer.
Once you get users who are using it for this, there's going to be advertising,
okay.
right? Because
so
if you're talking to it about,
they're not linked in with restaurants. They don't get paid on reservations. So it's not an open table model.
No. It's for the consumer. It's a consumer app on your iPhone.
Yeah.
And so they'll be transactional. I'm sure.
I'm trying that. I haven't tried that.
Simple AI. It's pretty interesting to be able to have an AI call. You can even have it call your friend and wish him happy birthday or something like that. As long as he knows that he's talking to an AI and doesn't get mad. But this is where I'm going is soon we're going to have AI agents that are doing all sorts of business kinds of interactions,
Sure.
maybe with human, maybe with an email system like yours, right? And then coming back and doing things. It's a new world we're heading into, isn't
It
it?
is a new world, but I tell you, as I have this conversation with you, the two of us having this conversation, I love, and we have lots of people in both of our circles that we love. I really worry about this conversation with the general public. I think it scares the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I think the word agent is scaring people. I really believe this. I love the idea of agent, and I'm totally with it technologically, but I see people, recoil when they hear it. This idea that things are doing things without you controlling it scares people. So that's why our approach keeps coming back to, no, this is on your behalf, keeping you in the loop so you can control it. Because I feel like you and me and several others, we're way ahead of the general public right now.
Yeah.
And when I say general public, I mean businesses. I mean CEOs at large companies. I'm speaking at the CEO conference in 3 weeks.
There's a lot of big companies, even in
Atlanta.
Silicon Valley, that ban AI right now, right? Because they're scared of intellectual property going away, or or
Robert, I sat on a panel with a guy from Cisco who described how locked down they were at Cisco from using AI and had to have specific approval. I do understand those issues, but one of the points I made was I believe that those policies are being made by attorneys, HR people who aren't educated enough to make those policies. So they don't know what else to do, so they ban. And they're putting Cisco and other companies like it at incredible disadvantages because Cisco's a massive company. That does not mean that someone's not going to rise up and completely usurp them, or at least segments of their business, because they're more fleet of foot, right? So
well, this is the problem, that big companies get calcified and get run by committees and don't move fast and don't innovate, and all of a sudden a new entrant shows up and disrupts their whole thing, right? And we're about to go into a new world where, in 5 years, we're both wearing glasses that let us operate in 3D, right? Like an Apple Vision Pro. And we have a robot with us, right? Doing stuff in our factories or in our offices or whatnot, or even in our homes. And so that's a new world. And that's hard for people to really dream about.
But this is where I get to technologists. Responsible technologists can help people get there rather than saying, here it is, oh, you're going to come. Like, we need to help them get there. Like, it's going to be okay. And one of the ways we earn their trust is keeping them in the loop, freeing them from lots of things and letting them feel the benefit, but making them feel like they're in control, putting them actually in control. I think that's a key, right?
Your wisdom, it sounds like you spent a lot of time meeting with customers, going to conferences, working expo halls and stuff like that, hearing, doing pitches at various companies.
Yeah.
You're hearing this kind of resistance right now. Because I hear it too, right?
100%. Yeah.
I'm doing the same kind of customer research.
I'm not only hearing it, I'm seeing it. Like I watch their eyes. What should be a super easy concept, I still like, they're like, well, I think I may have told you in the last conversation, but a bank, MBO, Montreal Bank, but now they go by MBO, held a gathering of small and medium business owners, and medium business could be up to 100 million. So that was their frame of reference. And they were leaders, CEOs and the like. This is back in June of last year in Dallas. There were about 100. I had questions like, I hear this word model. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And people say LLM. What does that stand for? And even more, what does it mean? Like, we can't, we shouldn't educate everybody on all the arcane technical aspects. We should tell them, like RAG. What does RAG really mean? It means you tell the AI to use this as the source versus its massive store, which might lead to hallucinations. Like, oh, I get that. Instead, people are saying it's RAG, retrieval augmented. What? Oh my God! What? First of all, I don't understand the term. What does it even mean? Retrieval augmented? Like what? What does it mean? Right? Just tell them in plain terms. I've been doing this my entire life, not in AI. I was around when TCP/IP became mainstream. with corporations, and I
Oh,
started
yeah.
dealing with corporate networking people, and they're like, what the hell is an IP address? What does this mean? Like, I don't understand it. And why is it called TCP IP? And like, oh my God. So I remember that. It's kind of the same, except this is much more important. So.
Yeah. No, it's true. Even me, I have to translate the industry to English. I call it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many technical terms. I mean, let me just look at my screen and see if I see one.
Yeah.
MOE, transformers. Uh, Routers. Right? Those are terms that normal everyday people have to.
But that's who we are. We're constantly like measuring our knowledge. Like I go to some of these conferences. The conferences that I'm loving right now are not that. They're more about customer real use cases. One of the best ones I did last year was a Financial Times conference in London. And this had everybody from the New Jersey governor who, shockingly told everybody how they were reviving nuclear plants in the most densely populated state in the country. That was quite a sentence, because they need it to be competitive in AI, and they want to host.
Go to China. They put the nuclear plant right in the middle of the city.
I tell you, but then some of the others that I've been to that are super heavily focused on the tech stuff,
Yeah.
Customers like, I remember a guy from American Express just kind of walking around the trade show floor. It's like, okay, what do you have? It's like, I know he was like preparing himself for us to launch into some acronym laden. It's like, well, what we have is a piece of software that lets you use your subject matter experts and make them appear on screen and answer questions. And if they can't answer a question, they'll go ask the human. The human will answer, and then it'll answer, and it'll know it forever. Like, oh my God, that's cool. Like, that's how we should be talking to people. Yeah. Not, we're using Llama and advanced RAG, and we're using, OLAMA for many different things. No. That's just
come to San Francisco and you'll see that language everywhere.
Oh, I know. I am. As you and I talked about, I lived there for 12 years. So yeah, I remember well. Yeah.
I'm going to another AI event this weekend. There's a lot of new things to learn.
Sure are. It's just amazing. It's fun. I mean, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. So because you're on the front line of this resistance, by the way, I've seen this resistance my entire career when we see a paradigm shift, right? A million people protested Facebook's newsfeed when it first turned on. People forget that, right? Gary Vaynerchuk and I give keynotes, and people would say, I'm never doing social media, right? Like everybody said that. Right?
The internet. I used in one of my presentations last year a video compilation of people talking about the internet. And one of the best ones was Katie Couric on NBC that said, I just think if I start getting on the internet, I'll never talk to humans again. So I'm just going to resist it. I'm like, that is what always happens, folks. But that's where I come back to us, humans. We always figure this stuff out. We do. We always do. It's not going to be any different here. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Have a conversation with AI. It'll teach you.
It's just amazing how you can have a conversation. I know how funny that sounds to people, but I'm telling you, I said, it's just the best. You'll have some of the best conversations because it never gets tired. It's always got good ideas. You can challenge it, and you should challenge it. You should 100% challenge it and say, you seem to be just giving me the answer I want. I'd rather you think more critically and, push it. It's just amazing what happens, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, the conversation I had today, I gave it a whole bunch. I wrote a whole like South by Southwest keynote and gave it to it and talked to it about it. And it's like, it really is amazing, right? Once you get there, how are you hiring people? What are some of the things you're looking for now? To make sure you catch an AI first thinker? Is it hey, show me how you're using Cursor or in your interviews? Or
fair question. So first of all, one of the reasons, I've had two reasons that I've been on the road so much the last year and a half and going to a lot of conferences and speaking. One is because I really care and I want the world to know, and I'm afraid if they don't know that I haven't done my part. That's honest and genuine. Number two is to promote our company to the world that says, and if you are in this business, we're one of the best companies you could come to, because we're not trying AI, we are AI, right? Yeah. And so we put people through, we have a really extensive recruiting platform called Crossover. It's ours, it's all ours. uses LinkedIn ads to get attention that start with, a well-written job description that describes what you will be doing, what you won't be doing. This is the structure. And then our interview process includes AI testing, literally prompt testing, an AI interview that the AI conducts an interview and asks it questions about its AI background. All of that is then given to an interviewer. And then we're having, in my particular case, my chief AI officer, every single one of these people report to him, even if they're in finance, even if they're in marketing. So it's very curious. It's a different org structure. They report directly to him, but they have a dotted line to the business owner. So the finance people have a dotted line to the CFO. The CFO says, here's what I need you to do. But then they go back to the AI organization to decide how to do it. That way we make sure they stay in the fold and don't get off course. And they also are sharing knowledge amongst the AI team. So,
Wow.
and it's multiple interviews, including me. I'm in the loop on every single one, and all of us have to be thumbs up. We haven't been 100%, but we've got really good retention after the early months. I think we hit our stride. And I did an internal survey, I don't know, about 4 weeks ago. And it was an anonymous survey of all the new joiners in the last year. And I asked them several questions like, why did you come here? How did you find us? Did you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you been able to advance your AI capabilities? 10 being extraordinary, 1 being barely at all. The average was 8.4. I was really happy with that. All of those things. So, and producing things, that people touch, like Eloquence, helps, right?
Yeah.
And we've got another one. Can't announce it yet, but I'll come to you before I announce it.
It's a new world of business, and I love talking to people like you because you're on the front lines trying to get both your own companies to change and helping other people change with their businesses. So thank you. Where do we learn more about it? I guess we went into that, but just wrap it up.
Sure. The company is IgniteTech, ignitetech.ai. We changed our domain name straight away. It's in like everything we do. Eloquence has its own landing page at Eloquence, ELOQUENS.ai. My Personas is also mypersonas.ai. All of those are our new AI products. What's fun is you can go on the Eloquence website and you can use My Personas to talk to it about Eloquence. You can go on the My Personas website and you could use Eloquence to talk to it about My Personas, right? So that's kind of the use cases that we're building out there. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robert. I really appreciate it. I love all the work you're doing. I love your energy. Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. That's what we do. We just keep trying. We're all kind of advocating and proselytizing to some extent. I keep using that word. It's a funny word, but it seems appropriate, honestly.
Trying to help people get into the future because it's coming fast. It's coming in waves. It's not going to stop. What I'm seeing in R&D labs coming is mind blowing. What's coming? So,
well, yeah. I mean, there's 100% this idea that I've got a slide in my presentation that I've used several times that is an ostrich with its head in the sand, and there's a sign next to it that says Gen AI. And I really, really think that that's what a lot of people believe, that if they just ignore this long enough and they come up, it'll be gone. It's like, oh God, you're going to be so wrong. You're going to be so wrong. Please don't do that to yourself.
Yeah. I just was at a big healthcare conference, 30,000 people. 45% of the booths had AI in their signage. So if you aren't getting a clue that something's changing in business, you gotta get there, right? And
absolutely.
get there fast.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Robert. I enjoyed it very